I had seen people that had tattoos, and I never really thought that they looked good on women. However, I changed my mind, and one thing led to another, and I decided I wanted a tattoo. And I was 39 when I got my first tattoo. Yeah. So that was 1981. Your grandfather took me for it, and all he said to me after I got it on the way home was, "Please don't tell my mother that you got a tattoo." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because she thinks you're a nice person." Oh, gosh. And I said, "Well, just because I have a tattoo doesn't make me a bad person." He said, "She thinks you're a nice person, just please don't tell her."
I always wanted to make my living drawing pictures. Mm-hmm. I really like tattoos. I've always really liked them. I started getting them when I was 20, maybe. And it just seemed like a reasonable kind of path to take so I could draw pictures and make my living all at once. Mm-hmm. I went to RISD for illustration. I graduated in 2004. After a series of all kinds of jobs, I found an apprenticeship with a man named Jim, who is still one of my very good friends, and I worked for him for many, many, many years. And only recently, actually this past April, I opened this shop here to be in the town that I live in, and kind of do my own thing and see how that works. I spoke with the owner of Ink Jam before I went ahead with anything, and he was very supportive. From there, it was a matter of trying to find a space and navigate opening a business, and then everything just went very, very, very quickly. It's been really nice. Jim was really supportive. Many of my clients were really supportive, and it's been a really great leap, and I'm glad I took it. The big difference here is, this is mine. Everything is my vision. Everything is from the colors and the artwork and the hours. For years, I was getting feedback from a lot of my clients, many of whom are women, that they would go into various shops and be very intimidated, whether it be how they were greeted or how their questions were answered or not answered, or maybe the person tattooing them didn't seem to have a lot of patience for them, or would really try and push them to one style or another. And then that coupled with a lot of shops are really bold. They're really bold in color, they're really bold in loud music, and there's a lot of people hanging around. The more clients I was meeting that were telling me that they did not love this experience, that they were intimidated to the point where either they didn't go through with it or they wouldn't go back, I realized that they need a safe place. And it's not exclusively for women. The majority of my clients are women, probably because of the style that I draw in, probably because I am a woman and sometimes that can be more comfortable. But I really want everybody to feel welcome here and to feel calm. The more calm you are in your environment, in your situation, in the way you're treated, in the music and the smells and the colors and the things that you have to look at, and the fact that you don't have people walking in off the street every 10 minutes asking questions. I think it's more of a boutique experience than if you go to one of the big shops. And I'm not saying they don't do fantastic work, they do. But it can be really intimidating to people that don't like that kind of environment. When I started tattooing, and this was way more than a decade ago, maybe it was just the places I went to, but I didn't meet many female artists. There was actually one experience I had when I was looking for an apprenticeship, and I was parading my art portfolio around to every shop in the Northeast looking for an apprenticeship, and I would get doors slammed and all kinds of things. It's not an easy thing to find. And there was one person, he was very intimidating in his own right, and he told me that girls have no business tattooing and to pick something else, I would never make it. So I'd like to thank that guy, because that was like the icing on the cake of motivation to do it. Like, there was no chance I was failing after that.
Out of all the negative comments and feedback she's received, and everybody who told her, no way, you can't and you won't, it's a big smack in the face of them, because she has and continues to do a great job. In the short amount of time she's been in business, it's really taken off. And you know, as far as being a woman-owned and operated business, a one-person show, it's got to be pretty difficult in any business you're in. But I've seen her with her struggles and everything, and I think it's great. She just keeps pressing on and going forward. The more people that step forward and put their fist in the air and tell the rest of society that, you know, it's not a man's world, or it's not just men doing this. And a lot of the shops being, you know, owned and operated by men, and basically put out the vibe that this is like a biker hangout, or, you know, something along that line. I think it's great what she's done and given everyone a place where they can be themselves and, you know, come in confidently and leave happy that they had the experience they had.
I kind of decided, it was a while ago, it was probably like 24, 23, maybe even 22, I don't even know. But it kind of came out of nowhere. My boyfriend at the time, obviously, Randy, wanted to do a full sleeve, and I was just kind of like, you know what, I'm going to do a half sleeve. Like, why not? That was this is my first tattoo.
Jealous, I think about it. I like see her and I'm like, I need it.
At that point, not a lot of girls had half sleeves, and I like to do things a little different. I'm not into like the typical, like, you know, you got to get it like hidden and small, and you know, why would you want it? And at first, we stopped at the half sleeve, and Lauren told me, she was like, you're going to want to turn it into a full sleeve. And then it turned into this, and then I wasn't even planning on going over here, but I want to do the Bruins bear, and that's how this started. And then I want to do the hands, and we're going to do the fingers, because I really, at this point, why not? They're everywhere. So, well, yeah, exactly.
Especially for like women, it wasn't always a common thing.
Right.
And it's kind of nice to get out of that, like, that stereotype. Like, I think it was kind of like looked down upon for a while, especially for women to get them on their arms. And it's just kind of nice to be able to express yourself in that way and make an artistic way.
I still get a little, you know, like I was saying, what are you going to do on your wedding dress? And I don't really think about that. What are you going to do when you're older? You know, you're going to be an 80-year-old woman with tattoos everywhere, but that doesn't really, I don't think I'll ever regret them. Some people love them. Sometimes people aren't too fond of them. I'm just able to wear short sleeves at my work because they didn't want him to be exposed, because I was a receptionist at the time and I was the face, you know, that you first saw. So I guess a girl with tattoos was a turnoff, supposedly, you know. It's a lot of older people that really don't like them. My boyfriend Vincent, his grandmother actually commented on my bat tattoo that was really ugly. So the older people, my parents don't get it. They don't like it, you know.
The old mindset.
Yeah, exactly. It's mostly the older
In their time.
generation, and I don't really want to go to anybody else. I probably will, just to switch things up, maybe, I don't know. But Lauren and I just seemed to click from the get-go, and there were a couple years in between, but I thought when I came back, like, there isn't a tattoo that Lauren has done that I regret. I usually, like I was telling them, I usually come in and I have no idea what I'm gonna get, like none. I don't know where I'm gonna put it. I don't know what it's gonna be. It could be, you know, it could be a coffin, it could be a Jason mask, but I love them every time. And it's funny because people ask, oh, what guy did that? Or, you know, oh, that's a girl? A girl did that? Like, that's like, oh my God, like a girl can be creative and a tattoo artist? Like, it's this new thing. I love the fact that she opened her place and it's kind of for women, by women. I think we need more places like that, especially tattoo places, you know, because it's not just for men anymore.
There was a girl the other day that was telling me how she's never, like, she didn't think that woman, like, this was too, and she said that she didn't think that women tattoo artists were good. She thought that men
What?
tattoo artists were better. She's like, I will never get tattooed by a woman.
What?
I just don't like how they are. I'm like, you probably just haven't looked at the right, like, female tattoo
That's weird.
artist, because Lauren is incredible.
I think that tattoos are exactly that. They're this incredible medium of artwork that you get to bring with you for your life. And the first tattoo that Lauren ever did for me was my big stained glass peacock. Probably close to 10 tattoos from Lauren. She's a phenomenal human being. And I remember when I first got the peacock tattoo, she was so excited about it. And it made the process so fun. But we just have always had really wonderful conversations. And I think it's really special that she is a woman in a very male-dominated industry. But the experience with Lauren has always been a different one than with other tattoo artists. And then for Lauren to take off on her own and have her own business is so kick-ass, and so I want to continue to support my friend, and also she's a brilliant artist, so wherever she goes, I'll follow. In the work that I do, which is in religious life and in spirituality, the field is definitely expanding, and more people who look different from what you imagine as church women, church mothers, are certainly becoming prominent. So Nadia Bolz-Weber is an example of a Lutheran pastor who's covered in tattoos, and she's really badass. But still, largely, there's an expectation of what a Christian woman in any kind of ministry should look like and should act like. And so I always throw that right off as soon as I walk in the room. People don't expect me to do the work that I do. The last tattoo that I got was down in Winston-Salem, where I live, and the artist was a man, and he could not believe that I did what I do and that I was so covered in tattoos and that I swear so frequently. So that was kind of a funny dynamic, but yeah, I think definitely being a woman and having tattoos is not what's expected, certainly in my field.
I definitely think that in my own perception as a woman, I would always say, oh, I love the way a sleeve looks on, a man. But I always sort of felt like I'm not the kind of girl that would have those. Well, what kind of girl has those? The girl who wants them is what I've learned as I've aged. I think they're beautiful, and it just in the last few years have I given myself permission to have a tattoo that can't necessarily just be tucked away. It's there and you're proud of it. My daughter has tattoos and she doesn't feel sentimental to them. She is spontaneous and she gets them because she likes them, not necessarily because they mean something. And to her, that's the meaning behind her tattoo. And for me, I was always like, oh, I have to think about it for a really long time. And I'm learning that it's the experience. So the conversations I've had with her is do it. You can always cover it, but make sure, number one, that you're invested in the experience and you're doing it because you want to do it. Don't just, randomly pick somewhere. Be invested in the piece or the artist.
I don't think I knew any other females that had tattoos. It was just something that I wanted to do for me. Well, I have 4, and I would say they're mostly just a symbol of art and just something that I saw that I liked, and I decided that I wanted it on my body. I am very happy with mine. I think I may be at the end of it at this point, but then again, we never know. There's always, maybe one more.